youngsters as we welcome you to Yankees spring training presented by Montefiore. As you can see, the tarp is off, was on a few moments ago. We'll take a look at today's Kia pitching matchup. But Ryan Ruocco, Jack Curry, Justin Shackle with you. Jack gives us a chance to talk about today's starting pitcher for Rodon and what you like, Jack, about what you saw.
Yeah, it was a 4-inning outing against the...
How about the LeMahieu situations, the Shack?
Yeah, guys, the x-rays were negative on that right foot for LeMahieu.
And just getting some work in. How have the Yankees discussed the amount of at-bats perhaps?
Individual has, he said, roughly 30 at-bats for him. So, you know, that's a player who was slowed.
Season, the lineup is bolstered enough that he doesn't have Volkswagen dealer. Brandon Marsh leading off. You see the productive 2023 season. Carlos Rodon, who will take the mound. How about Joe Torre out there in uniform exchanging the lineup cards?
Justin, Jeter, Mariano, etc. Just quite a legacy that Yes has built.
And Kevin Smith fighting for a roster spot alongside the starting shortstop Anthony Volpe. Gleyber Torres at first pitch from Rodon. He's just a tad low.
And that Wells will be catching Rodon, so...
But when one hits righty and one hits lefty, that adds a completely different fact. Being a left-handed pitcher. 2-2 here on Marsh. One hit, one run. The 2-2. Got him with the slider.
That pitch was right on the outside corner.
There's a strike. Out in the air. Verdugo. 0-2.
See the inside slider again, like you did against Marsh.
It changes the eye level. 1-2. The son of Rogers stays alive. Still 1-2. 1-2. Oh, right into the crowd, Mike. 1-2. Swing and a miss. 95. Torres coming up next. By your local Tri-State Volkswagen dealer. Volpe, Soto, and Torres at the top of the order. Then it's Stan, Verdugo, and Well. Strom on the mound for the Phillies.
Injury-free last season.
Anytime you get that out of a pitcher. Talked about it, Jack. He's had such a strong spring. Last year it turned into noticeable uppercut.
The Yankees felt he was collapsing on his backside last season. So you're in the strike zone.
The 3-2. That one is in there for strike.
Get the call right there.
Chops it weakly to first. That stays fair. Hall on the right side and Stubbs behind the plate. Oh, Torres also has had a really good spring. Get me to the start of the season.
100%. We spoke with Justin earlier about, he said he'd love to stay with the Yankees. Brian Cashman was asked about that. He said, let's stay in the Yankee offense.
The 1-2. Just missed. Really was a strong offensive outputting from Torres.
Walks by about 30, and when you aren't chasing bad pitches and you're putting...
Here's the 3-2. Ball 4 as Torres
starts. They never actually execute that. Give Gleyber Torres a lot of credit because last he needed to have better plate discipline.
Nothing aggressive there. Floats it into shallow right. Catch made. Back to work after a 1-2-3 top. Back to work after a 1-2-3 first. Rolls one to short. Volpe fumbles, recovers.
At such a fast pace.
This reminds me of a time.
Ouch.
I needed Anthony's foot speed to be able to handle it.
I don't know if Michael... How old were you?
How old was I? I was in high school. Yeah. Left on left.
It is also about just making sure you have those other pitches at your disposal.
The 3-2. Air to center field. Grisham waits.
Obviously, Rodon knows he's not a guy here as they're waiting for Cole to return. even if he's 90% of that pay change for the Yankees, if he can return.
Also the possibility of him returning to the excellence that we saw those two. Bottom of the second inning, Ryan Ruocco, Jack Curry, Jack Grisham. The new pitcher for 0-1. Regularly in the lineup for the Yankees this season. You think about the ways in which you also think about this guy and what he could provide behind the plate.
Yeah, left-handed power. I spoke to Kevin Reese, the Yankees vice president of player development. And we're going to listen, you've got a guy who can both hit and play defense at the major league level. Smile, and he said, well, you get your motivation from everywhere. Didn't Tom Brady sort of get...
Catches the bottom of the...
We mentioned those 2 gold gloves that Grisham has, Ryan. I asked him in spring. You've also got to get the jump off when the ball hits the bat.
Since 2020, by far and away the leader in outs above. Swing and a miss. Strong inning for as the #1 regional sports network in the country on the Montefiore and the people who've built it. They're just every time we walk into, I think, unique feeling of camaraderie that we have and all take pride.
Our boss and he were going over what that opening should be and how stressed. Yes, has more than lived up to what Michael promised in that opening. He was a radio person making the transition.
First out. Grisham's Cal Stevenson. Just missed. Cutter and slider when you're dealing with a pitcher who's just throwing the cutter for the first time.
With a ton of tilt. It's not a Don's hand.
Volpe slides, shovel.
I asked Volpe the experiences that maybe were new last year feel more routine.
1-0. Go racing back is there just on the lip of the track through 3. No score. The legends will include El Duque, Orlando Hernandez, Jim Leyritz, and our colleagues. So be sure to visit legendsofbaseballcruise.com. Popped up. Dominguez, the new pitcher for Cabrera, followed by Anthony Volpe. Cabrera.
Because that heat is coming from Sir Anthony. You see what Cabrera has done, a slider and a changeup. And we're used to seeing Cabrera all...
Spring the time to try it.
To spring, you would have believed that he was in line for one of those spots. But I also think
up his spring. Wow, that is long gone. Cabrera with his first. I think he wanted to give us something good to talk about from his spring production.
That ball was just mashed. If you didn't see who hit it,